Hi, this is Nick Forster. Every week on the air, we recognize someone our listeners have told us about, folks who are stepping up in their own communities or beyond and making a positive impact. We do this not only to share these inspiring stories with listeners like you, but to remind us that so often, even in the face of big problems, little steps can lead to great results. It's the eChievement Award, and here's Helen to tell you about this week's winner.
Our Achievement Award winner this week is Arif Khan, formerly of Portland, Oregon. Yeah, give it up for Arif. As I said, he's a great guy, by the way. Formerly of Portland, Oregon, now living in upstate New York. Years ago, Arif was doing a 10-week city planning internship in Mobile, Alabama, when an unused parking lot he often walked by made him wonder what could be done if the pavement was removed. Well, later, Arif moved back to Portland, Oregon, and he by chance saw a bumper sticker that said, quote unquote, "Pavement is forever," which he took as a personal challenge. Shortly after, he ended up buying a home, oddly enough, that had a backyard that was completely paved over. So he recruited some friends. They transformed that concrete yard into a garden oasis. From there, they began organizing what they called depaving events. Out of that, the nonprofit Depave was born, and its goal is to rip up overpaved urban areas to make way for green spaces that benefit the community at large. Now, an impressive number of these dead spaces have been converted into usable living gardens and gathering places. And Arif's here with us to tell us about how depaving works and how this effort has transformed several cities at this point. So please welcome our award winner this week, Arif Khan.
Arif, welcome.
Well, thanks.
Depaving sounds like a pretty radical, disruptive concept.
Yeah, I suppose.
So this was something that just made sense to you as you were in Alabama originally, right? That was the sort of original inspiration.
I was working downtown in a lot of Alabama, or Mobile, Alabama. It suffered from white flight, so a lot of the resources went outside the city, left a trail of dead, open parking lots, right? And I would walk by these things and thinking, God, something better can be done.
Yeah. And so
ironically, I remember this one parking lot was called Big Lots. Like it's a store called Big Lots. It was just an empty, dead space. Yeah. So.
Is there a part of your brain when you look at something like that thinks, oh, sure, that seems doable? Because to a lot of people, they'd walk by a big paved space and just say, wow, that's too bad.
Yeah, I like looking for possibilities. And also, I think personally I'm attracted to destruction. But in the most positive way. And I feel like, I don't know, as humans, we're born to create, but there's also an element of us that wants to destroy. And if this is not channeled in a positive way, I think it can have negative repercussions.
Wow, okay. So
I didn't mean to go deep, but if you
I like it. I like it, but I'm just trying to imagine. So now you're in Portland and you bought a house with a paved backyard, and you decided that this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
You get your friends together and then just like break stuff and.
Pretty much. This house, the house, no one wanted to buy it because everyone wanted a little garden, and I thought, okay, this is beautiful. It's a blank canvas. I'm going to destroy it and create a garden. I convinced some friends, and because I think other people have a need for destruction too, right? So I think they saw this as an opportunity to let out their aggression in the most positive of ways. Right?
Wild. So do you get jackhammers and stuff, or how do you take?
We didn't know what we were doing actually. Yeah. I asked everyone, and that's how Depave was born. I looked online. I looked for resources. I asked local contractors, and I couldn't find anything on the web. So I just take what I've learned, my friends and I, just hacking at stuff with jackhammers and sledgehammers and big pry bars and kind of document it.
Yeah. So then it's your backyard. Your friends are all coming over and breaking a bunch of stuff and jackhammers and sledgehammers, and then you've got a giant pile of rubble. What do you do with that?
It's like a clever move on my part. I convinced my neighbor to take the concrete chunks and use them as a planter for his garden. So
like build a retaining wall.
Yeah, and I gave away on Craigslist it said free paving stones. Right? Was that a Huck Finn move? Right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So that's wild. So other people came and hauled all your stuff away.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's wild.
Right.
Amazing. So then, and then what did you do? Put down sod and make a lawn or something? Or?
I was more into food. I wanted to grow fruit and vegetables. So we actually got wood chips from local arborists, kind of fed the soil and added organic matter and chicken manure and stuff, and started planting trees. And now there's fig trees, blueberries, plum trees,
Wild.
peach trees, a pomegranate tree. You know.
Wild.
Yeah.
So let me just ask you a question about when you're tearing up something that's paved. Is it always paved with the same stuff? Because it seems to me that I see stuff that's like maybe there's a difference between concrete and asphalt, or I don't know.
Yeah,
what
they're two different materials. Asphalt is oil, petroleum-based, and concrete is sand, cement. Right,
yeah.
right. So.
And do you dispose of them in the same way, or how do you get rid of them?
No, actually, concrete we typically reuse, or it's reused as fill, and asphalt is actually recycled. It's the most recycled product in the world.
Wild.
Yeah.
Just heat it up and make more.
Yep.
Wild. So there you are. You've already converted your backyard into this oasis with all these fruit trees and everything, and then you said, "Okay, well that was fun. Let's destroy some more stuff."
Pretty much, yeah. So found a friend of a friend that owned a coffee shop with this big parking lot, and I was like, "What are you doing with that parking lot?" And she's like, "I don't know." And I was like, "How about we tear it apart?" And she was warmed up to the idea, and now it's this great garden. It's been there for about 10 years.
Wow. Wild. As you gather your friends for these sort of destructo parties, are you ever surprised by how some of them really get into it? Like they really, really let go of their aggression? And
I think a lot of people have some pent-up aggression that I think I saw it. I thought, what I wanted to do with Depave, and I still want to do, is get more sort of adjudicated youth involved, like youth that have maybe emotional or issues that could be benefited from getting involved in something very physical and very cathartic.
Yeah.
Such as breaking apart concrete and turning it into a garden.
That's so wild. I had an idea like 20 years ago for this thing called the Anger Center that I thought would help with glass recycling, where you just get a big concrete space near the
break
jail
stuff,
and have these kids who are, they've got to do community service. You go and you just throw that stuff against the wall, and then it goes to the recycling center.
Yeah.
But of course, can't do everything.
Sure.
But the reality is, your project did kind of take off, right?
It did. There was a lot of support, and I'm really thankful to all the great volunteers and folks that have made Depave possible.
Yeah.
I guess I started it, but I had other friends that took it further and created an organization around it.
Has there ever been a situation where you've ripped up a parking lot and then somebody said, "Wow, I really kind of wish I had a parking lot still"?
No, I mean, how often do you go to an amazing city and say, I love the parking lots in Paris. I love the parking lots in, who says that?
Nobody says that.
Right. Some people are like, oh, now I have to park further. But you know what? It's fine. A lot of people don't know that, but pavement's responsible for a lot of water pollution in a lot of cities. So,
because the water doesn't, the runoff goes.
The runoff from our cars, from the oil, from the heavy metals, from brake pads, arsenic, mercury, that all flows into streams and affects water quality.
And otherwise, it would be sort of filtered and processed essentially through the natural process of the water, the hydrologic cycle in the dirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's ways to break down like hydrocarbons and chemicals using plants.
That's so wild. So any specific types of people who get involved in these projects?
It's been wide-ranging. We've got young folks, and we try to put everyone to work, regardless of their physical abilities. And we like to put kids to work. We're a big fan of child labor. I mean, really, it's hands-on, getting kids to do physical things, getting them away from screens, getting them away from computers and iPads. It's a positive thing for kids, and kids like to break stuff as much as I do. So,
So how many volunteers or how many kids or folks have been involved with the Depave movement so far? So
our model is one to keep the organization itself small and be very open source, and to encourage others to replicate and learn from what we've done. So in Portland, we've had about 4,000 volunteers. We've created over 50 new green spaces, and often these green spaces are in areas, lower socioeconomic areas that don't have much access to natural areas. So we prioritize like that. So we've had 4,000 volunteers in Portland. Now we've got chapters in Nashville and Cleveland, a few
Amazing.
groups in Canada, near Seattle in the Puget Sound.
Wow. And I can only imagine that if you convert a vacant parking lot to something that has suddenly become a verdant a garden oasis, or even just a community garden or a place to hang out, that's also going to change the tenor of the neighborhood a
Sure.
little bit, change the opportunity for people to interact with each other.
Yeah, I mean that's why we use the model we use of full community involvement. We use a lot of manpower versus machines, so that brings people together, and they have a literal hands-on, experience
Right.
creating spaces, and neighbors get to meet each other. And we've seen neighborhoods transform. I mean, not just from an environmental perspective, but a social perspective.
And so there's the water quality issue, there's the social issue, there's the sort of physical manifestation of basically beautifying areas that are particularly in otherwise economically disadvantaged parts of cities. You're bringing all these people together. You're introducing young people to manual labor and sort of community welfare. Is there a downside? Is there anything that's like not working as well as you'd imagined it
What's
could?
not working? I thought by now we've been doing it for 9 years. I thought it would be all over the world and we would have no more pavement. But no, I'm just kidding about that. No, we're rational people. We understand the need for pavement. But we just think that cities are overpaved, and we all feel like we need to, drive everywhere and park right in front of our destinations. But we're not aware of the negative impacts of pavement.
Yeah. Wow.
But I also,
Go ahead.
No, I think there's also a component that it inspires people when they hear about our organization, because they think of something as pavement, as permanent. Like I saw this in van that had all these hippie stickers and environmental stickers, and it said "Pavement is forever." There's the Joni Mitchell song, right? They paved paradise. So when we come in and actually transform a paved lot into a garden, I think there's something that's triggered in people that they feel like, oh, anything's possible, and maybe there's other institutions or things we have that should be destroyed. And I don't know, the patriarchy or the military-industrial complex. Like these are also, I see depaving as a metaphor for other things that we could.
So Arif, you might be our most radical eChievement Award winner we've had so far. Just an anarchist in our midst. Depaving.
I'm very straightforward kind of guy.
Well, listen, I like the idea. I actually love the idea of going through life and looking and observing and being aware of what we perceive as being impenetrable or permanent or unfathomable in terms of how we might change it. And this model is a very practical demonstration that things that are hard and firmly entrenched can be repurposed or removed or destroyed and reborn in some way. So as an exercise, I really see the value in it. And certainly, how many square feet have you transformed so far? Who knows, right?
Yeah, it's 150,000 square feet in Portland, plus the other, thousands of square feet other places, and that's millions of gallons of stormwater pollution that's prevented from going into streams. So
and recycling a lot of asphalt along the way.
Yeah.
Hey, is there a website if people want to see pictures or learn more?
Depave.org.
Depave.
Depave.org.
Depave. Yeah. Okay, don't put the R in there.
No.
Depave.org.
Right. Or you could.
Listen, I really appreciate you coming by, and congratulations to this week's eChievement Award winner, Arif Khan, founder of Depave, depave.org, transforming paved spaces into gardens and other spaces. Congratulations, Arif. Thank you.